Well, let's get straight to your COVID coverage. A surge in new cases driven by the Delta variant continues to swamp hospitals across the state. Governor Asa Hutchinson says Baptist Health will add 12 ICU beds in Little Rock to help with hospital relief. Now, this as more than 2,300 new cases of COVID-19 are reported in the state. To the nation's capital now, 4029's Jared Hill is in Washington with a look at what's making headlines. And Jared, while millions of Americans are getting vaccinated, why are health experts saying we may not reach that goal? Those power outages are forcing many students to continue to learn remotely today, while others return to class. 4029's Lydia Fielder is live in Van Buren for us. And Lydia, what are school districts saying this morning? Time now 6:15. Today, President Biden is back on his tour across the nation to drum up support for his infrastructure plans. 4029's Jared Hill is live in our Washington bureau to talk about some of the challenges it's facing on Capitol Hill and some of the counter proposals on the table. Jared. Good morning and welcome to 4029 News Sunrise. I'm Paul Petitte. Hope you got a chance to jump outside and see the super moon. The peak was just about 15 minutes ago, still out there, but the sun is rising. And with that, Laura has your Get Ready forecast. Hey, Laura. Happening now, Sebastian County is in a state of emergency this morning. The National Weather Service in Tulsa predicts water in the Arkansas River will reach 41 feet at its peak. That's 3 feet higher than the previous record set in 1945. As a result, people living along parts of the Arkansas River are evacuating their homes and preparing for flooding like we've never seen before.
4029's Paul Petitte is live for us in Van Buren. Paul, what are you seeing there?
It's unbelievable. The sun is setting on a very destructive day here in Van Buren, Allison. Let's take a look around. I'll show you this neighborhood. The winds whipped through last night. National Weather Service saying up to 80 miles per hour. These two homes completely destroyed as a result. And as you could see, people working on homes. And we spoke to somebody who was in one of these homes. They were all asleep, a man, his wife, and two kids, when the winds started whipping.
The 3-year-old says the big bad wolf blew down his house.
How else could a 3-year-old explain how his bedroom windows shattered and the roof of his home tore off? Andrew Diller spent the day gathering what remains after a night that could have easily turned deadly when he says a strange sound shook he and his wife from sleep.
Sprinted across the house to my daughter's room, threw her in the bathtub. Then I went to my son's room, couldn't get the door open because the roof had collapsed into his room, kicked it open, got him.
At his next-door neighbor's home, only the walls remain. Brittany Ashmore is 7 months pregnant. She and her husband survived because he was shopping and she was at work.
This is just stuff. Stuff can be replaced. I mean, people can't.
Now it's a team effort to pick up the pieces after brutal winds tossed fences, blew windows out, and garage doors in.
Local churches came out to our aid, neighbors. The 142nd Field Artillery Brigade, they came down.
Amazingly, they escaped unscathed from those winds. Now, again, he mentioned a tornado. This hasn't been officially called a tornado. The National Weather Service, again, supposed to come out tomorrow and survey the area. Playing a guardian in Destiny cost Rylan his grades.
I actually failed one of my classes at my first semester of my junior year of high school.
Defeating the dragon in Skyrim cost Jordan thousands.
And because I didn't focus, because I didn't do the homework as much as I can, or even just give as much effort as I should have been, I lost a full ride scholarship.
These young people at University of Arkansas's Student Union readily admit they were once video game addicts. And while they now claim control, they share stories of when their habitual gaming went too far.
I went 3 days straight before I went to sleep.
I was having headaches. I was having dreams about it. I was having dreams on the regular about Skyrim, of playing it and the characters in it.
Those are some of the many reasons the World Health Organization is now adding gaming disorder to its list of mental health conditions.
And that means, first of all, that individuals have some out. They have an opportunity for insurance companies to come in and to provide treatment.
From Candy Crush to Call of Duty, video gaming disorder is characterized by out-of-control playing, prioritizing gaming over other daily activities, and ignoring the negative consequences. The excessive behavior must be evident over a 12-month period.
And that's a lot of the criteria that we use to diagnose substance use disorders.
Experts say the real message here is the brain is affected by video gaming in a similar fashion to alcohol and provides the same risk-reward rush as gambling.
There's a craving to be the best or get to the top or better yourself. And people definitely neglect a lot of other responsibilities to be able to do that.
This is not to say that all video gaming is addictive, but World Health Organization research shows nonstop playing could short-circuit the young brain's ability to develop problem-solving and coping skills.
I think the biggest thing is that we need to step away from our phones and our iPads and computers and that sort of thing.
Rylan now limits his gaming to 3 hours a day. Jordan has taken a break from college to recoup. But when she resumes, she will still have to pay her own way after losing her scholarship to video games.
And there's not a day that I don't regret that.
In Fayetteville, Paul Petitte, 4029 News. With signs claiming bowling and transgender rights, protesters converged on Bentonville Square. They're livid that the Arkansas legislature overrode Governor Asa Hutchinson's veto of a bill banning sex change treatment for minors.
It's just totally despicable, and it saddens me to see the way that Arkansas legislation is going.
The bill is called Save Adolescents from Experimentation, or SAFE Act. It prevents doctors from providing hormone treatments, puberty blockers, and sex change surgery for anyone under 18. Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge says if minors can't drive cars or buy cigarettes, then they shouldn't be allowed to undergo this life-altering procedure.
Letting our most vulnerable, the young people, know that if they want to make that decision as an adult, they can absolutely make that decision. But we're not going to allow a parent to make a literally life-changing, permanent decision for them while they are still a child.
15-year-old Dylan Brandt is undergoing hormone treatment, but that could be halted under the new law. He says Arkansas lawmakers went too far, and Governor Hutchinson agrees.
I said that's too much, and this interferes with patient care. It interferes with parental decisions on an area that the science is continuing to learn more about.
Once the bill becomes law 90 days after the legislative session ends, Arkansas will be the first state to ban transgender treatment for minors. It also pits a Republican governor against his Republican attorney general and GOP-controlled legislature.
If people are going to believe that we're a bunch of bigots and racists and hateful and all that stuff when we promote what is best policy for protecting kids, I'm willing to to bear that burden in order to put forth policy that protects kids.
The ACLU is now working on a lawsuit against the SAFE Act, and some pediatricians are joining the objection.
It scares me to think about legislation that dictates legally what conversations I can have with my patients behind closed doors.
Dylan is one of those patients. He's calling on Arkansas's transgender community to continue to be vocal. The Family Council of Arkansas issued a statement, meanwhile, calling the SAFE Act good for Arkansas children. The veto override passed easily in both chambers, and supporters say Arkansas will be better off for it.
They're minors and they're children, and they need to be protected from two things, both surgical and chemical sex change procedures.
Paul Petitte, 4029 News.